Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. In this video I took my dad and brother on a 3-day camping road trip tour throughout the California desert. We visited Joshua Tree National Park, the Amboy Crater, the Mitchell Caverns, and the Kelso Sand Dunes. We started on a Friday morning in early November. Our first stop was Stater Brothers in the town of Yucca, right outside Joshua Tree National Park. There we bought last-minute supplies like sandwich meat and s'mores stuff. We then entered the park with my America the Beautiful National Park Pass, which had already paid for itself way back in January. Our first stop inside Joshua Tree was Keys View, which looks over the Coachella Valley. Unfortunately, it was a typical hazy day, so I couldn't see too much detail, but I've been told that on a clear day, you can see as far as Mexico to the south. Keys View. Following Keys View, we hiked to Lost Horse Mine. It is normally a 6-mile loop trail, but I chose to do the 4-mile out and back route instead. Upon arrival at Lost Horse Mine, we could see the mine in the distance, yet it was still very far away. On the way back to our vehicle, I spotted a tarantula on the trail. This was a welcome surprise. The drive to Cottonwood campsite was long. It took about 45 minutes since it was towards the south end of the park. We hardly drove by anyone on the way there. Once at the campsite, we set up camp and started dinner. After sunset, we were able to see so many stars. Even the Milky Way was visible, along with a few shooting stars. I went to bed early around 8 p.m. At 10 p.m. I was woken up by my dad exiting the tent because it had started raining and all of our stuff was getting wet outside. I too quickly got up and put whatever I could under the truck. The following day we woke up at 6 a.m.
Hello, it's Saturday, November 18. I'm in Joshua Tree National Park. Stayed in Cottonwood Campground. As you can see, it's a great day. So like 6 a.m. right now. Last night it rained at like 10 p.m. at night. We had no idea it was gonna rain. All our stuff was in the truck bed and a lot of it got wet, so my dad woke up in the middle of the night and he put everything in like on the floor, and then I heard him getting up, so I got up too. And I put away some stuff too, but a lot of it's wet. The tent has like moisture on top. You're supposed to stay dried though. It's not that cold right now either. It's like probably like low 50s. Everything's like slightly damp though. But yeah, having a great time at Joshua Tree National Park. After this, we're gonna go to the Amboy Crater, but first we're gonna have breakfast at McDonald's in town. So we'll see you later.
The ground was moist from the rain. There was a chill in the air. This was dawn at Joshua Tree, and it was incredible. The way the sun peeked over the horizon and cast a shadow on the nearby mountains was truly priceless. We soon packed up camp and started driving north. We drove past Ocotillo Patch, and I decided to stop to admire the desert plant. Ocotillos have the ability to remain dormant during dry seasons, but after desert rain showers, they will sprout up hundreds of tiny leaves that cover the stem. Shortly after Ocotillo Patch, we stopped at the Cholla Cactus Garden. The Cholla cactus is another impressive desert plant that must be respected, mostly because they are covered in spines. The cholla has even been called the jumping cholla because in high winds, the needles have been known to fly off the stem and impale the human skin. There's a reason a pair of pliers are changed to the trailhead. After leaving the Cholla Garden, we exited the north entrance to Joshua Tree National Park. We were only there for about 20 hours, but were able to pack in a lot of great memories. Upon exiting Joshua Tree, we headed to McDonald's for breakfast. We ate. My dad filled his gas tank back up at the 7-Eleven, and we set off on our next destination. From McDonald's, I drove us about an hour north to the Amboy Crater, which is off Route 66. I had been there before many times. The first was during a college field trip. The hike up to the crater was fairly flat and out in the open. It is the desert after all. A hat and sunscreen helps out a lot. Once the long flat part of the hike is complete, the uphill section begins. There are several switchbacks along the side of the crater. It is incredible to walk here because it is like walking on another planet. After the Amboy Crater, I drove us about another hour northeast towards the Province Mountains, which is a mountain range in the lower center of the Mojave National Preserve. I had made reservations for a cave tour of the Mitchell Caverns. I had also reserved the campsite in the Province Mountains. We set up camp and then waited for our cave tour reservation. The inside of the cave was out of this world, and something I certainly do not see every day. This cave had certain formations called stalactites and stalagmites. Stalactites are the formations that hang from the ceiling, while stalagmites are the ones that are on the floor and stand up like a traffic cone. The most interesting formations are when stalactites and stalagmites come together and form what's known as a column. Some grow close to one another and will form waterfall-like features. These formations are made from calcite and are very dense, and large formations can weigh several tons. This formation is notable because of the way each formation is level with one another. This is theorized to show where the water level once was. After the cave tour ended, our tour guide let us walk back through the cave. I noticed that the cave system was very short and only felt long the first time because the guide took the time to explain what everything was. For dinner, I planned out camp meatloaf, which is just ground beef and vegetables wrapped in aluminum foil and placed in the campfire. It was a meal that I had while in the Boy Scouts. The idea of a hot, wholesome meal being cooked out in the middle of nowhere is what made it stick after so many years. At night, my brother and I stayed up and stared at the sky. We could see countless stars. I even saw a few shooting stars. The Milky Way was clearly visible. A few hours passed and we all went to bed. Then around midnight, the wind started picking up. I'm talking very high winds. The wind was so strong that our tent kept getting blown down and kept hitting us in the face. This continued throughout the night. Needless to say, no one really got sleep that night. When the sun finally rose, a little after 6 a.m., I was the first to get up and start packing. I was able to get this sick shot of the sunrise. Soon enough, my dad and brother also got up and we packed up camp. We drove down the mountain and stopped by the Mojave National Preserve sign to take a quick picture. The weather was still chilly with high wind, and there was a haziness in the atmosphere. Nevertheless, I still drove to our next stop, which was the Kelso sand dunes. Yep, just like the Sahara Desert, the Mojave Desert also has its own dunes. There are actually a lot of sand dunes outside of the Sahara. Upon arrival at the trailhead parking lot, my dad said he wasn't going to be doing the hike because he wasn't up for it. I understood and left him a radio in case he needed to reach us since there was no reception. My brother and I began the hike without him. Then about 30 minutes in, we hear the radio. It's my dad. He said he was starting the hike. I thought that's great. He's feeling good. My brother and I waited for him and decided to dig a hole in the sand to pass time. We waited a short time before my dad had caught up to us. Once he did, we hiked up the dunes together. The sand made it difficult to hike up because each step I took up, I also slid back down half a step. Once we reached the top, I was out of breath, but the view was quite breathtaking. After taking several pictures at the top of the dunes, we decided it was time to go back down. My brother decided it would be a good idea to run as fast as he could down the dunes. He was all the way down in about a minute. This concludes my 3-day camping road trip with my dad and brother. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please leave a comment and let me know what spots I should check out, as I'm always interested in finding new and interesting places to explore. Leave a like on the video and subscribe if you haven't already. And I will continue to post new and exciting videos for you guys.